Look at somebody and tell them you got to have character if you want God to answer your prayers. I look at it. A person that is righteous does not mean they do everything right, because we cannot obtain righteousness by the works of the law. Therefore, grace was imputed unto us, that now by the acceptance of the gospel of Jesus, I obtain grace. And grace then leads me through Yeshua HaMashiach unto my God. We don't go over soteriology. We walk through soteriology, because Jesus has to reconcile or connect us back unto God. Now, if Jesus can't connect me to God, I can't be connected, because every religion claims to have access to God, but Jesus said you can't get there except you come by me. So if Buddha religion was right, Jesus still has to be the intercessor between you. I'm going to preach myself. Between you and Buddha. If Confucius was right, it got to be you, Jesus, and Confucius. If Islam was right, it got to be you, Jesus, and Allah. Whoever Jesus connects you to is God by himself. And Jesus never talked about Allah. He never talked about Confucius. He never talked about Zoroastrianism, Unitarianism. He only talked about Jehovah. And so if Jesus brings me through soteriology and connects me through the pneumatology, which is the spirit, I got the spirit, salvation, Jesus, and God. If I got all of them, I don't need nobody else. Oh, God, help me tonight. Look at somebody. I'm trying to get y'all out of here early. Look at somebody and tell them, what can we say to these things? Because God has certain straps to keep us connected to him. That's why, y'all be seated, I'm just talking. That's why Jesus said, no man can pluck you out of my hand. What can we say to these things? If God be for us, no man can pluck you out of my hand. Why? For those whom I did foreknow, I predestinate. When I predestinate, I glorify, justify. What can we say? If you've been predestinated, foreknown, justified, called, and glorified, there ain't nothing in hell the devil can do with you, because you got God wrapped up, tied up, and tangled all up around you. Somebody shout hallelujah. The importance then of God through prayer is to provide you with grace. So now he gives grace to the person who calls on his name. I looked at it in Colossians. Paul writing to the church at Colossia, he says, and by him were all things created. Things that are in existence. What? Principalities, powers, and thrones and dominions. Whatever the throne is determines the place that authority reigns. And whatever or whoever sits on the throne will determine what comes from the throne. So the Bible, yes sir, said boldly come to the throne of grace, which means, Lord, I'm in the wrong place, which means when I need help from God, I go to the throne with grace sitting on it. Because when I come to the throne with grace on it, grace, for my one screamer, is God's power in the place of what he won't take away. I ain't got no help in here tonight. Some stuff he's not taking out of you, but he'll give you grace in order to handle it so you can still accomplish, y'all don't like that, your goal. Look at somebody and say, I don't have no reason not to give God what he chooses. And it's interesting because prayer then, y'all be seated, I'll behave, prayer then has to be incorporated in the doctrine of providentiality, because the doctrine of providence extrapolates that God has to provide for those he loves. It's providential. I got the power, and if you got power and don't do it, then love is challenging, because if you love me, why am I going through this? Now it's one thing to love and not have power, because if I love you, I express my ability, but if I don't have the power to conquer your circumstance, then it's not love, it's power. But God has power power and love. And what he'll say is, I love you enough that I know you got the issue and I'm not taking it out of you, but I'll give you power so you can handle, y'all don't want to talk to me, what you got to go through.